Are mortgage interest rates going up or are they coming down? Are home prices going up or are they coming down? What's going on with this debt ceiling? We live in a generation of receipts. And tonight, we are going to look at the receipts, the data to determine where the market is going. We can only make decisions based on data. We can't predict the future. Anything can happen. But based on the data, we're going to know this summer and by the end of 2023 what is going to happen with the housing market. What's going on, guys? My name is Min Win with What's a Mortgage. Welcome to our channel. The goal of our channel is to simplify home ownership. If it's your first time tuning in, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe or notification button so you are notified every time we go live or post new content. We go live every Monday night on Facebook and YouTube at 8 p.m. and we post content daily on Instagram and TikTok. So if you're not following us on our other platforms, please go ahead and do so. We leave amazing tips on our Reels and TikTok. A real tip that can change your life as a homeowner or a potential homeowner. So don't forget to do so. Also, if this video brings you any value, do me a huge favor. Tag someone on this video and like this video. What's going on, fam? All right, Instagram, I will see you guys all on YouTube, okay? It's youtube.com/what's a mortgage. See you guys on in a bit. What up, YouTube family, Facebook family? Hopefully you guys are having a great night. And of course, I think I'm gonna start doing this where once a month, we're gonna do a housing market update so you can make the best decision for you and your family. So of course, all decisions are made based on data. Without data, we can't make decisions. And tonight we're gonna pull up receipts to see where we are in the housing market. Why hasn't interest rates come down yet? Min, I thought you said as soon as inflation comes down, then interest rates are coming down. The feds haven't started hiking yet. Min, I thought you said when shelter inflation comes down, the feds will stop hiking. We just don't know when they're gonna stop. They say they want it to come down faster than later. Also, we need inventory, right? People love to say what goes up must come down. I completely agree. But also what comes down must come up. But also there is another saying, for every action, there's a reaction. If the action right now is for people to stay in their home and the reaction is that prices push up because people don't sell. So we're going to go over the inventory in the United States today, okay? The active listings. All right, guys? So the question that, that is talked about the most right now is the United States debt ceiling. First of all, what is the debt ceiling? So the debt ceiling is like the United States credit card. The government needs money to pay bills. Of course, they make money, but they just don't make enough to pay their bills. Because they don't make enough, they have to borrow money. So that creates something called a debt ceiling, which is like a credit card. So every year, we have to borrow more because our country is not making more money. So every time we need to borrow money, we have to increase our credit card limit. But if you go to your credit card and ask for money, but you're not making enough to pay your current bills, why would they give you an increase? And this is where the Republicans and the Democrats, they argue. Everyone's leveraging, fighting over, should I raise it, not raise it? And of course, they both want to raise it, but the challenge is they all want something out of it, okay? So right now, this is where we stand. The Republicans want to increase the debt ceiling, but they want the United States government to cut the bills, how much we are spending. Because if we keep increasing the debt ceiling and we keep printing more money, inflation is moving faster than it ever has. And our kids and our kids' kids won't be able to tolerate the inflation. But the Democrats, they want to increase the debt ceiling as well, but they don't want any bills to be cut from the budget. They say we need all that money. Without all that money, we can't pay all our bills. So of course, they're at a stalemate, right? The Republicans, they've already brought the proposal. Democrats are not budging. They're in talks right now. If they do not raise the debt ceiling by June 1st, so if they do not increase the credit card limits, I take that back, between June and July, right? June 1st to July 1st, there might be enough room to make it till July 1st. If not, sometime in June, if they don't increase the credit card, we are going to default on our loans. And if we default, inflation will get out of control. And when inflation gets out of control, prices will skyrocket because now our money is worth less. When something is worth less, you need more of it to buy. So if they don't raise the debt ceiling, which they will, 99% chance they will raise the debt ceiling. But the problem right now, the banks, they don't see it. They say, hey, most likely they should, but in case they don't, they're, Chase Bank, they're meeting behind closed doors. Other banks like, hey, we got to increase the bonds. That's why you see higher rates right now, even though inflation's coming down, shelter inflation's coming down, unemployment's going up, but they are expecting, inflation to go up if we do not raise the debt ceiling. So rates are really sticky right now. If you do not need to lock and close, I probably wouldn't do it until we get the okay that they raise the debt ceiling. If they raise the debt ceiling, you will see a relief on the bonds. So the U.S. Treasury bonds, okay? When the government needs to borrow money, they issue bonds. But what happens if they don't raise the debt ceiling and the money that the bonds we issue don't hold weight? Why don't they hold weight? Is because we can't pay our bills because we didn't raise the debt ceiling. And if that happens, we have to raise the yields on our bond. We have to pay a higher return. If your bonds are worth less, you have to pay more. So that's why you see the 10-year bond come up. And that's why you don't see interest rates come down. Even though the interest rates aren't tied to the 10-year bond, it's tied to inflation. So of course, as inflation's up, you see higher mortgage rates. As inflation is down, you'll see lower mortgage rates. But because of the debt ceiling, there is that slight chance inflation is going to keep going up. And with that happening, that's why you see higher bonds, and that's why you see rates not responding to all the other data. But if today we didn't have to deal with the debt ceiling, we should see lower interest rates, okay? So that's what's going on with the debt ceiling right now. Second thing, of course, last Friday, the Feds announced, hey, we need inflation to come down faster. It's not coming down fast enough. After that was said, you saw the bonds go up as well, okay? That just says, hey, there might be one last hike in June. Man, I thought you said the hikes were done. With the data that we have, the hikes should be done. But remember, the federal government is looking at lag data. It's like if I'm in the East Coast and I was fighting a war on the West Coast, but by the time they get me the data, it's been months because I'm taking too long to get the data. So I'm making a decision based on lag data. If they made the decision based on the data they see today, you can see inflation's coming down drastically, okay? Now let's look at core CPI. So now we know inflation is sticky because of two reasons, okay? Or rates are up because of two reasons. Because of the debt ceiling, and now we know why. Number two, because last Friday they did announce they need to bring down inflation sooner than later. It's getting too sticky. So if you look at our CPI report, okay, for the month of April, CPI came in at 4.9%, okay? So can we see that up here? 4.9%. So they need to get that down to 2%. So until it's moving in the direction swiftly down to 2%, we cannot back off on any rate hikes. But if we don't back off on rate hikes or we don't cut rates, we can still get rates lower, but they can't drop drastically unless we cut rate hikes. So if you look at inflation came in at 4.9%, and you look at the two reasons why inflation didn't come down drastically, energy. As you know, in April, right, OPEC, they announced that they are pulling back on production on oil, about 1 million barrels a day. With that happening, if you look at the inflation report, energy went from negative 3.5 to 0.6. So energy costs, it was actually deflating, now it's inflating again by 0.6. Also, you look at used cars. Used cars went from negative 0.9 to 4.4. So these two factors are the reasons why you didn't see inflation drop under 4.9 or core inflation drop under 5.5. But these two categories with today's data should be capping out. And with that capping out, next month in June, we should see lower inflation, okay? If we see lower inflation, we'll see lower rates. So on top of inflation coming down, the one factor that's controlling it is shelter, okay? So if you look at apartments.com, you can see that the pace that rent goes up, rent's still going up. I'm not saying that it's declining, rent's lowering, but the rate that rent is going up is declining. So as these numbers decline you can see this on apartmentlisting.com, okay? You can see right here. Also, you can go to rent.com. You can see the rate that rent is going up is declining. And with those numbers declining, we should see lower inflation. Shelter inflation makes up about 43% of inflation. So as those numbers go down each month, you'll start seeing inflation go down. Remember the rule. As inflation comes down, we will see lower mortgage rates. Now, let's look at, let's see, are we looking at the job market?
Before you get to the next point, can you tell the IG people that Andrew Wynn is your producer and
oh, guys,
forward to YouTube?
Andrew, I'm already logged off on it, on Instagram.
No, you're not.
I'm not? Oh, shoot. Guys, I'm back on Instagram, my bad. Guys, on Instagram, Andrew Wynn is my producer, so go ahead and go on youtube.com/what's a mortgage, okay? My bad, guys. Okay, there we go. Now, am I off now?
10-second delay.
Okay, cool.
We'll find out in 10 seconds.
So as we see, that's going down. Let's see here.
Okay.
So here, another thing, you can go on Redfin. You can see report after report, you see rents coming down. Okay, report after report, you see rents coming down. As you know, shelter is 43%. As you see more reports that rents coming down, and if you're on the sidelines, just if that keeps coming down, just know that inflation is going to come down. That means be prepared for lower mortgage rates in the sooner. But for some reason, the rate of rent increases on how rent goes up, then of course you'll see higher rates. But if you're trying to time the market, hey, pay attention to rents. If month after month you go on rent.com, apartmentlist.com, and on Redfin, you see the trajectory of rent coming down, then you might be able to back off and go, hey, rents are coming down. Why lock into a rate now? I can lock in later on, okay? Of course, we look here. And we looked at rents. Next, we look at jobs. Of course, I don't want anyone to lose their job, but for the feds to pivot, I mean, so there's two things. There's either there's stopping rate hikes and there's cutting interest rates. So we're about the Fed rate is about 5.25 right now. If we stop rate hikes, we will see lower rates. Right? Right now, the market is, pricing in more than they should. Typically, a 30-year fixed rate is about 2% above the 10-year bond. So the 10-year bond right now is 3.5. So rate should be at 5.5. But why is it 6.8757%? They're pricing in more than they need to, because if the feds keep hiking rates, they have to price that into the rates. Just like yourself. If you had something you had to sell, but you know that your costs are going to get increased down the road, you are budgeting more into your price before you sell it, because you know they're hiking rates. They're going to make things more expensive. So that's why you'll see, hey, if we stop hiking rates, we should see lower rates instantaneously as soon as they stop hiking rates. But if you look at this jobs report, if with all these hikes, as unemployment increases, the only way the government can stimulate the economy again is what? They need to pull rates back so that businesses borrow money and stimulate the market. And when that happens, job market should pick up. So from now, for probably a handful of months, we should get more unemployment. So those are two factors. If you are trying to time the housing, I'm giving you guys all the good from me here, okay? Realtor, lender, you should know this information. Home buyer or person planning on refinancing, if you see rent inflation coming down, and you see unemployment going up, which we don't wish bad things to happen to other people, but if as it goes up, you'll know that, hey, rates are coming down, right? It should be time to refinance. So pay attention to the market. If not, watch What's a Mortgage. I'll keep you guys informed. So this is the data that we have in front of us. The data we have is debt ceiling. Of course, like I said, they are going to 99% chance they're going to raise a debt ceiling. Once they raise a debt ceiling, you should see rates kind of back off a bit. If you see unemployment go up and you see shelter inflation coming down and over inflation, the Feds will stop hiking, and that's when you'll see lower rates. So sometime this summer, early fall. I said May, June, July. Now I'm thinking June, July, or maybe August, but rates are in that direction. Okay, like I said, so what goes up must come down. So I completely agree. With the data we have, start preparing. If you're ready to buy a home, and you don't want to fight the crowd to find a home, get approved. If you're not ready, definitely go to my Instagram on my bio link and download the Wham wallet. and do a soft mortgage credit pull so you know where you stand, so you can start budgeting yourself to see when is it ready to buy. Okay, you can put in lower rates as well. We're gonna go over what happens when rates drop 1%. So at the end of this, we're gonna go over some payment scenarios. So if you have a scenario, we might be able to go over that. Okay, so like I said, let's go back to it. As the job market, unemployment picks up, okay, you will start seeing the Feds pivot. If it picks up drastically, let's say right now we're at what 260. We're at what? Initial is 264. If we see those numbers pick up in the low threes, the Feds might have to pivot. And when they pivot, on top of not hiking rates, they got to cut back from the 5.25. You will see lower mortgage rates. Okay, I don't think we'll see 2s and 3s, but 4s and 5s, yes. So, you know, that's why you want to use the WAM wallet, know where you stand, put in the rate around 4 or 5 in budget. Hey, I can buy a house at this price when rates drop here. Just understand you have more competition, but at least you'll know your budget, okay? If you don't know how to get the WAM wallet, send me a DM, and I'll send you the link to the WAM wallet after tonight, all right? So, next one, okay? So, next month, pay attention. If you pay attention to the next report is coming out June 13th. June 13th is when the next inflation report comes out. Pay attention to that. I'm letting you guys know where they find the information. So you're on top. Oh man, why didn't you tell me? I'm giving you guys all the good, okay? Realtor, lender, you got to know this information. June 13th is when the next inflation report comes out. And of course, June 14th and when they announce. If they're hiking rates, then of course we won't see rates come back. As soon as they announce we are done hiking rates, just based on the spread alone, like I said, if the banks know they're not hiking anymore, the spread comes down. Rates should be about 2% above the 10-year bond. And like I said, it should be about 5.5 right now, but it's not. It's at 6.875 to 7%. By that alone, rates should be back in the 5s by not hiking rates, okay? We don't need a miracle. We just need a little prayer, all right, guys? Just kidding. But we do, okay? Oh, please, no more rate hikes. As soon as rate hikes back off, we'll see lower rates, all right? So now we know what's going to happen with interest rates. If the Feds stop hiking, we're good. If they don't, it's going to be a little sticky, all right? Like I said, pay attention to debt ceiling, shelter inflation, pay attention to all that. Next, let's talk about inventory. This is the problem we're running into right now, okay? Here's another rule, right? What goes up must go down. What goes down must goes up. What?
The main problem.
The main problem. Here is the main problem. Inventory. Right now, we have about 2.6 months of inventory in the market. For it to be a buyer's market, we need at least 6 to 9 months. The only thing holding back buyers from flooding the market is interest rates. Outside of that, we're not seeing more inventory. If you look on the Fed, the Federal Reserve economic data, and you will see in the month of April, okay, which was last month, there's only 563,598 active listings. There's not enough active listings. So for everyone who likes to, you know, oh my God, the market's falling, go out there, write an offer. There's not a lot. If anything's sitting, it's either a house that you can't move in right away, or the seller's not budging on price and they still think it's 2020, 2021. So looking at the active report in April, and you can see this on any government website, the Federal Reserve economic data, there's not enough active listings, okay? So now, also in April, February's report, I think the market bottomed out in February. If you're seeing reports right now, they said the prices are still declining. Remember, all data lags. But if you look at February, the Case-Shiller report. So that's a report pretty much, it's like the Bible of home price index, right? Home price index. It rose 0.1%, which is not a lot, but a lot of people think the market bottomed in February. I think people realize rates aren't going to get back in the 2s and 3s. There's not a lot of inventory. If I don't buy something right now, unless they start building more home or more inventory enters the market, which can happen. I'm not saying we can't all of a sudden be flooded of homes and home prices can't drop, but it would take a lot. So I feel, and you read these reports, in February, the market bottomed. So if you're expecting prices to drop, we would need foreclosures, forbearance, delinquencies, people to lose enough, people who have homes to lose jobs to sell their homes. We're gonna go over next, how many people, why aren't people selling? Okay, so we know now in February, 0.1%. If you look at Redfin, I love how people love to bring up Redfin reports when it benefits them, but they hate bringing up Redfin reports when it doesn't. Redfin reports limited listing leads to a few but fast home sales. Fewer homes are selling than usual this spring, but the ones that are changing hands are going fast, with a small pool of buyers circulating and even smaller pool of listings. Limited inventory and elevated mortgage rates continues to suppress U.S. home sales as we enter the heart of spring. We're entering spring. People were expecting home prices to like inventory to come into the market. But imagine if you are a homeowner right now, you tell me, answer this question out loud. Would you sell your home with the interest rate you currently have in today's market? So with that being said, that's why we're not seeing prices crash. Yes, there was a correction where people who wanted outrageous prices couldn't get them. But I don't know anyone who sold from August to December that sold their home at a loss. They probably didn't make as much selling before August, but they still made money. Okay? So imagine people find out, you know what? I can't sell these prices, or let me sell at the normal prices. And people are still selling their homes. Okay? So that's Redfin's report. This is why people are selling. If you look at today's report down here, where's it at here? 42%, says it right here. 42% of all homeowners, owner-occupied homes in the U.S. were owned free and clear. So you think about all the homes in the United States, 42% of them do not have mortgages. This is 2021. The report should be higher by now, okay? Because people paid off their homes. But let's say 42%, that means what? 58% of homes have mortgages? Only 58%? If you were a homeowner, your home's paid off, with today's inflation, would you sell? Even if you lost your job, you would find a way to cover your property taxes. You wouldn't go out and sell your home. You can probably get a line of credit if you were smart enough to get a line of credit before you lost your job. So you have that 42% of all the homes in America are not selling. With today's inflation, hell no. Would you sell and pay higher property taxes? Most likely not. That's why. Okay, that's one reason. So that I'm painting this picture to you because I know there's other people out there bringing up these stories but no data. They're bringing you up, oh, this is what Zillow says, this is what Redfin, this is what some news are that fits their agenda. I'm pulling, I love to use Zero Hedge, which is pretty much a conservative newspaper. Conservative online web news articles. But I didn't use them today because I know everyone's like, oh, I don't want to use that. I'm using every left wing, right wing besides Zero Hedge to show you that's not going anywhere. So here's another report from Business Wire. 85% of homeowners with mortgages have a rate lower or below today's levels. So if you have a rate lower, why would you upgrade? You would need a lot. So when rates do pull back, you will probably see more inventory because it's going to entice people to move. Right now, with them not having mortgages, lower rates, they're not going anywhere. So unless rates pull back, then they'll probably upgrade. But when they do, what is lower rates going to do? It's going to bring in more buyers. How much? We'll show you with you in a second, okay? Stick with me, guys. At the end, we're going to go over some payments here. Now, let's look at Washington Post here. So this is a graph of rates below 3% and above 6%. About, let's say, 30% of people have rates 3% or below. Look at 3 to 4% up to 4.5%. That's over 75% right here, right? If you look at the graph here, from here, this is the 3s, the 3.4, and the 4 to 5. So let's say under 5%, 75, almost like say 80% of people with mortgages have rates under 5%. Rates would have to be 6% or maybe barely below it for people to do a swap. But imagine, how about 4%? Okay, 3 to 4%. That's like over 50%. Like that's 65, 67% of people have rates under 4%. If you were in the position that they were in, would you upgrade? So why would they? That's why we're not seeing this inventory. And I'm painting you guys this picture so you understand. You can pull up these reports. Andy, can we get all these links onto our page? So if you want a copy of all these links, lender, realtor, so you actually have the data to share, just make sure you give me credit on it. I'm going to post all these probably in my stories later, okay? So now we have that. We have people aren't forced to sell. They have low rates or they have no mortgage. Now let's look at mortgage delinquencies. People love to bring up mortgage delinquency. Oh my God, there's going to be a flood of foreclosures. The banks are just holding on. By the way, if a home misses mortgage payments after 120 days, it is public record. So there's no way in hell banks are secretly holding on to a bunch of foreclosures out there. It's not possible. It's public record. And you look at here, Black Knight, which sells foreclosure data, by the way, sells data. Mortgage delinquencies are down 2.92%. People missing mortgage payment, 2.92%, even though foreclosures are up because, of course, they lift the moratorium, but they're up because they haven't foreclosed on anybody for the last 24 months. But, of course, they're starting the process. But even though with the process starting, okay, 2.92, people don't have a mortgage or they have lower interest rates, okay? Let's say it was like less than 10% had rates above 6%, as we saw by our graph, okay? People aren't going anywhere. Now let's look at forbearance. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Yes, I will admit, if the government didn't step in, actually I don't say that. If the government didn't step in, there'd be a bunch of people foreclosing. If you look at the statistics, most people who took advantage of the forbearance had jobs and had work. There was a small portion that needed the forbearance. We didn't need all this forbearance, but it saved a handful of people. Remember, there was 8 million, over 8.5 million homes in mortgage forbearance. Right now, we're at 0.55%, less than a little bit over 0.5%. That's about 275,000 homes in America are in mortgage forbearance. That's 0.55%. So we're not getting forbearance. We're not getting people who are late. They're going to let their homes go. So what do you think is going to happen? Okay. And of course, just like you and me sitting on the sidelines, I'm trying to buy another home. If you look at this, this came out in April 12th by U.S. News. 2/3 of home buyers are holding out for lower rates. A U.S. News survey found that 66% of Americans who plan to buy a home this year want to wait until mortgage rates fall further before entering the market. If rates dip in the 5s or even 6% on conventional, or right now FHA is at 6%. I know some cuckoo people said it was 7%. If FHA, so right now, because of the spread and how things are, FHA and conventional, the difference is 0.875 to 1%. Okay? If it's not that far away, you're working at a boo-boo lender or getting a loan from a boo-boo lender. Unless it's some boo-boo credit like, 600 credit score. But if you're above 660, your FHA rate is about 1%, about 0.875 to 1% better than conventional. So right now, FHA is at 6% to 5.25. If that thing drops to 5%, and FHA drops, conventional drops to 6, we're gonna unleash the Kraken. If conventional drops to 5.5, it will be a feeding frenzy. All right? And these are all the receipts that I have so you can make the best decision for you and your family. So you have two choices. Choice number one, buy right now with a higher rate. You might not love the payment, but you'll have a better chance to get a home. Or wait till the Kraken is released and fight the 66% of other buyers entering the market. You'll get a cheaper payment, but there'll be more inventory to get, but you have to buy, but you're gonna have to fight off some people. So end of the day, that's where we are with the housing market. We talked about the debt ceiling. We talked about CPI. We talked about inflation. We talked about the job market. We talked about everything that you need so you can make the best decision for you and your family. All right? So, guys, let's take a look at what happens when this Kraken gets released, okay? So, let me know this. Give me your scenario. Okay, we're going to assume your FICO score and your scenario. I need to know either 3.5% down, 5% down, 10% down, 20%. Purchase price, okay? I'm going to do maybe like 10, at most 10, okay? At 10. Purchase price, down payment percentage, and credit score. And let's compare today's rates, and we're going to drop it about 1% and see, is this going to bring more buyers back in the market, okay? Let's do this. So if I go to Techie Land, I'm going to go with my standard scenario right now, okay? Let's open this thing wide open. Guys, if this brought you value, do me a huge favor. Like this video, share this video. If you're not following me by now, please follow the page, okay? I need more YouTube subscribers. So the 97 people on YouTube right now, if you're not following me, please, if I brought you value, please follow me, okay? If you are on Facebook, go to YouTube, please follow me. I need it. I really need the follows, okay? All right, guys, let's look at Mary Jim. Okay, Mary Jim today has a, let me see, let's say Mary Jim today is 450. Let's go to 450 purchase price. 450 purchase price. If you're at 450, FICO score 650. Okay, so today you're at, let's say, 6.5 with a 650. Okay, 650 with what? 3.5% down, 3.5% down, 3.5% down. FHA, FHA. So if you look at here, can we make this thing bigger or no?
Yeah.
Okay. One second, guys. We're gonna make this thing a little bit bigger. Thank you, Kareem.
Unless you let me zoom in.
Yeah, let's zoom in. Just don't. We don't need to show my face. Just need to show this so everyone can see it. Okay.
No, people like seeing your face. That's why they start long enough they don't see your face.
Okay, cool. All right, let's go here for who was that? Who was the first? Mary Jane. Mary Jim. Okay. So 6.5 rate. So 450 purchase price. FHA with your FICO under 660. Let's say you would give you a 6.5 rate. 3.5% down. Your payment is $35.34. This is on a 450 home, right? Crazy. But let's say when rates pull back, you can get a 5.5. Okay. 3,500, 3,230, 3,250. That's a lot more reasonable for a 450 house by like what, $300? So, all right, crazy. So imagine that. Imagine that. So right now rates are already at, right now, Mary Jane, what I would do is get my FICO to 660. Okay, 660 drops your rate, makes your payment even a little bit better. Now let's look at Striker. Is it Striker? Let's see here. Striker here. Striker 1. Okay, Striker 1, 550, 780. 550, 550. What's the FICO? 780, 550. Conventional.
Real quick. Let me move mouse real quick.
Okay.
Take mouse back.
Okay. 550 here. Right now, with your FICO, let's say you would get 6.875. Down payment would be conventional, 5% down. With that FICO score, this is 0.24. So right now at 550, your payment's $4,200 for a 550 home.
Make that bigger.
Okay.
So
4,200. See here, 4,200. Okay. Imagine rates dropping 1%, which should happen once they decide not to hike rates. 4,200 just turned to 3,858. Okay, 3,859. All right. See, that's for Striker.
Let me switch back.
Okay.
Okay, take mouse.
Okay. All right, Mary Jane. 750, 5% down. Okay. 750, 5% down. $750 here, 5% down. You might need a little bit because the loan amount is barely over. What's the FICO score? 803. Oh, same. Probably this would be like 0.18. So today, the payment would be $56.93. $56.93 on the lower rate. Hold on. You drop the rate here. That was too low. Okay, 6.875. Lower PMI. Good to have good credit, right? $56.93. Aon. Now let's drop the rate 1%. 5.875. You'll see a rate of 52.27. See the drastic payments when rates drop? Imagine rates going in the fives, but also imagine them cutting rates. If they back off the Fed, going back to my picture. Okay, browser. So imagine them. This is just not rate hikes. If they just decide not to hike rates today, things will be more affordable. If they decide to hike rates, to back off rate hike, you'll see lower. Okay, right, Mary? All right, let's look at Matt. 500,000. Let's go to Matt. 500,000. Let's go website full, right?
Yeah.
So let's go with Matt's 500,000 FHA. FHA. So FHA here. You can download. You can go to the techie or go to our website whatsupmortgage.com and see this calculator. FHA today 5.875. That's right now. Let's say right now Payment is going to be $38.07. Okay. So FHA payments are lower than conventional right now, guys. But of course, you guys want to see conventional. That's why I put up conventional. But let rates pull back. You can get a 5 1/8. New payment is going to be $34.96. See the big difference? When the feds stop hiking rates and the banks don't have to have such a high spread because they know the feds aren't hiking anymore, by default, you'll see lower rates. But if you want to see extremely low rates, we would need that unemployment to go up. Like I said, I can't predict the future. All I can tell you, for every action that happens, there's a reaction. As inflation comes down, so will mortgage rates. If inflation goes up, so will Fed hikes, so will mortgage payments. Okay? Everything, for every action, there's a reaction. Hopefully that helps you out. What's up, Jason? How you doing? I think we did the 850. We already did 850. 315. Okay.
Oh, do the Facebook one, the Andrew one.
The Andrew one. Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew right here. We're gonna look at we just did 550, did we? No, we did. Oh, that one's easy. Yeah, 550. 550. Here's for Andrew from Facebook. 550 here. 550. Today's rate. Say 6 1/8. Okay. Payment's $41.87 at 550. Okay. Like I said, get on our WAM wallet, sit on the sidelines and wait. Let's say rates drop 5.125, went from 42 down to 38.46. 38.46. You're seeing prices drop by a couple $100. Okay. You're either going to gain $50,000 in buying power if you want to buy more home, or payments about $300-400 off, right? The bigger the loan amounts, you'll see a bigger spread when rates drop. Okay. See who else here? Striker, we're good. Who else here? I think Yvette Elizabeth, okay? 315 purchase price, FHA. 315 purchase price. $315 purchase price. Guys, be patient. All right, I'll get to you guys. Right now with that let me see, we'd probably be at 6.875 right now with your 620. 3.5% down. Payments $25.51 at 315. Okay. At 6.875. But if rates drop, you can get a 5.875. Okay. Payments $23.48. It's not going to affect you significantly because where the loan amount is, but it is going to save you some money. So if it was me, Yvette, I would probably buy now and streamline later on. Okay, that's what I would do. But like I said, if you're like, hey, I need that extra money, then get approved, do a soft mortgage credit pull on the WAM wallet. And after you do the soft mortgage credit pull, figure out your budget, sit on the sidelines, and of course, as you see me announce rates every day, rates pull back, you can buy with a lower payment. Okay. We did Andrew already. Did we do Jason Newman? I don't think we did. Did we do? Yeah, we did. We did 850. No, we did 800. We did 850. You couldn't go 5% down, Jason. You would probably need 10% down. So Jason. Let's do Jason 850 10% down. Just conventional here. Jason, did you get a credit score here from Jason? 740. Okay. Jason 740, 850. Unless you want to go jumbo, go 850, 10% down. Right now, rate 6.875, 740. I gotta remember all this stuff every time I go through it. Crazy. So 850 today, payment 63.33, Jason. All right. And if we go up, if rates pull back, you got 5.875. Your new payment's gonna be 58.32. Okay, that is a significant drop. It's gonna happen. Like I said, you'll see a bigger spread drop for higher loan amounts. All right. Just sounds like an inflation process. Yes, George, it is an inflation process. Okay. See here. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Blackbeard. So it would be preferred to buy a home before the next Fed meeting. I would probably wait. I think a lot of people who don't watch What's Mortgage Beard, I think they're probably will enter the market I'm assuming in July or August inflation report. Okay, unless shelter keeps pushing back up, or you know OPEC decides to step in and bring cuts more production, and you see higher rates. I mean higher prices on oil. Then yes, inflation should be coming down. I think what I would do right now if I was in your position, um, and it depends where you're at with inventory, I would either go on the WAM wallet or go somewhere, run a soft mortgage credit pull, or reach out to us directly. You give us a call, 714-790-9697. Give us a call, send us a text. We can either help you with a soft mortgage credit pool or call any mortgage lender. But it should be a mortgage soft credit pool. Know where you stand and say, hey, I want to be priced out at 6%, 5.5%. And of course, when rates pull back, then come into it. If not, just sit on the sideline. At least you know when you're ready. And when you're ready, then do the hard mortgage credit pool. Okay, hopefully that helps you out. Rima, how are you determining these interest rates? Like I said, I look at rates all day long, so I base it on conventional. I already know it's based on down payment, on loan credit score and down payment and property type. On government loans, it's pretty much based on credit. Okay, hopefully that helps you out. D here, let's see here. D here, 570. Let's go with 570 here. So we go with 570, 10% down. 570. 570, 10% down. Credit score 805. 10% down. Right now, rates are still here. If I go 10% down, I would go FHA, Guada for a lower payment, or D for a lower payment. But if you want to see conventional, actually, you have a good credit. I go conventional and the lower PMI. Your payment today would be 4140. Okay, 4140, 10% down. Okay, and you wait for rates to drop, 3804, 3844. Okay, but check this out. Oh, no, actually, never mind. We can get it done. All right, D. Hopefully, have a Guada, 1.1 million baller, $1 million home. Okay, 1.1. I think we're gonna do D. We're gonna do the last one for the night. If you guys want a custom payment or put together a scenario, let me know. One too many zeros. 1.1. Jumbo right now, there's a 10% down jumbo, no PMI. I think your rate's probably going to be 6% on the 30-year fix. ARM would be less. 10% down. No PMI right now. 73.44. All right, guys. Hopefully this information helps you out. Guys, if I brought you value, do me a huge favor. Please hit that follow button. Okay? If you know anyone that is interested in this video, please tag them on this video. And again, if you want to get a hold of us, you want to check out the WAM wallet, or you want us to put together a custom budget for you, give us a call, 714-790-9697. Give us a call, send us a text message. If you have a loan estimate and you want us to review it to find out, hey, is this a good deal, or can you find me a better deal? As long as it's not new construction, send it over to info@whatsamortgage.com and we will review it for you, and we'll see if you have a good deal or not, or if we can find you a better deal. Right, guys? I really want to thank everyone who watched, who commented. If I did not do your scenario, send me a DM and I will do your scenario and send it to you tomorrow. All right, guys? We want to end all our episodes with our attitude is gratitude. Without you, there is no us. So thank you guys so much and have a great night.